Hello and welcome to the Bold Black Girls podcast. I'm Aries.
And I am Kim.
And we just want to pop in here right quick because a lot has happened since our last episode. We're going to continue on with the second part of Healing with the Homegirl Therapist, but we wanted to pop in because we had a very eventful week, which we said we would last time. We had a couple predictions that came to pass, right? Um, New president,
And
new
I predicted
speaker.
that.
You did.
Yes.
You did boldly. You boldly predicted that.
Yep. And we have to boldly really kind of walk in what we want and manifest that, right? So
Yes.
if you think it and believe it,
You shall achieve it. But no, what a long week it was, wasn't
I
it?
was going to say I was on pins and needles. It was to a point where I had to restrict myself from social media, the news, like give myself a time period because day to day, we didn't know.
It was at about once we got to Thursday, I was like, okay, I'm only going to check in periodically just to see where we're at. If anything hasn't changed, I'm not about to sit here watching this the whole time. But then first couple days, I was stuck to the news. I watched the news more last week than I did all year.
Wow.
Because of how long you're sitting there watching it all. Think about it. Election night. And then the next day, because you're thinking it was going to change on Wednesday, it didn't. Then Thursday, that's when I was like, okay, I kind of just came in and out. By Friday, I was like, I'm not looking no more. I'm just going to wait until my phone updates me.
I was like, at this point, it doesn't even matter because Jesus is king.
Exactly.
But in my heart, I knew Biden was going to win. Like the numbers were to me consistent on the news outlet that I was watching because I know there were news outlets that were saying different. But I'm a NBC, MSNBC type of chick.
Okay.
So and CNN, and so he was always ahead. Yeah. Whenever I looked, he was always ahead.
I was worried the first night because I learned a lot on this election. Like I feel like I vote and I do all the stuff, but I didn't know the process for the mail-in ballots because I think we didn't have as many of like this before, because it was so many. Yeah, with the pandemic, and it was so many, and they were continuing to count them and like how many were out there. I'm like, this sucks. Like Tuesday night, I went to bed like, he's going to win. I remember praying with the boys because the boys were in it. We were watching it like it was an NBA finals thing. LJ and them were so into it because they were looking at the colors and they were getting into the percentages and all that, so it was educational really for all of us.
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah. And that night I was like, Lord, we praying for our country. We pray for healing. I always pray for, ending racism. Oh. I'm like praying that your will is done, even though we don't want it to be Trump. Like I did say that, I'm not gonna lie.
In your prayer?
I said, we need a miracle. We need a miracle tonight. I did. I was like, Lord, we need a miracle. I was like, but your will be done because you are ultimately the one. I kind of threw that out there. Like, ultimately, I just had to put my request out there. Now he said you have not because you asked not. So I had to go out there and go and put that all out there. But I was really proud of Kamala becoming our first woman, our first Black woman, and first Asian American.
Yes.
She's been breaking. We talked about her on a whole episode, so y'all can go back and look at it. But she has her whole career. Everything she's done was like a first.
Everything.
First time, for this. First time. Attorney General, Senate. All these different things. So, very proud moment. I was also very proud about the fact that they specifically acknowledged Black women and their efforts and what we did in this election. And honorable mention, Stacey Abrams.
AKA our bold Black girl of the week.
Look, bold Black girl of the week. Stacey Abrams. Now, if you guys are a part of the Bold Black Girls tribe, we just did a live that is up there. We talked about the woman with the issue of blood. We talked about Naomi, and don't give up was the theme for both of those stories. And Stacey went through some things. They did her dirty and everything. And you know what? She didn't get bitter.
Still, she persevered. She was still tenacious.
She took that bitterness and that
and she used it for good.
Pistivity. She took that and channeled that right into their work and said, oh, okay, y'all want to do me dirty? Because, you know, there was a lot of voter suppression when she was running for governor of Georgia. Right. And Brian Kemp, who was they stole that election from her. It was like really ridiculous, the stuff that happened. But you know what? She said, no, I'm going, you know what I'm going to do? I'm about to pave the way for my sister to come on in there. I hope they give her some kind of office.
Cabinet seat.
Yeah, she needs something because she turned Georgia all the way around.
Like,
there were more people, but still.
Exactly. Like, okay, she said, okay, y'all stole this from me, but guess what? I'm about to steal the presidency.
Exactly. Oh, y'all want this
way bigger.
That's fine. But we're going to go ahead and get this presidency.
And I am really so proud of Black people in the Black community. And Joe Biden talked about that, right?
And Joe Biden acknowledged it.
We stepped out and literally I had a dream. Last night of the night.
I had a dream. Go ahead.
And I was praying. I was dreaming about prayer, and my prayer was about community and unity. And I'm thinking now, like, look what we can do as a community when we unite together. Yes,
I was kind of surprised that we had so many people in these different cities that turned up and turned out, basically.
Yep. Because there were 3 in particular that we waited to the last minute for votes. 1, Michigan,
Philadelphia, Detroit,
aka Pennsylvania, right? Uh-huh. Detroit, aka Michigan, and Atlanta, aka Georgia.
Exactly. And they did a lot of pushes at the end, like that last couple weeks where Revolt TV did a thing where Lee Merritt, who was also on one of our episodes, him, T.I., Offset, the rapper who did the teaching you about the branches of government with the yellow hair, yellow, black or something like that. I forgot his name. Mm-hmm. And Bakari Sellers, and who did Rap City? What's his name? Tigger. They did a town hall conversation about the vote and getting Black men to come out and vote. And Offset, I particularly connected with him because he said, this is my first time voting. He's 28. He was saying, I thought I could not vote. My mom is the one that told me to check on it because he says probation officer had told him that he couldn't vote, which is just not true. You can vote if you are not, even if you have had a felony, as long as you're not on probation or parole or actively serving out that, the rest of that, and you're done, you can vote.
Oh, wow.
And each state has their own laws, right? Of how that works. So you would obviously have to check your state, but he did a whole push for that. He did commercials. He did a song. He did like all these things, you doing what they can, answering those questions to people who say, what about my vote not counting? Hello. I don't hear anybody else saying their vote don't count after this. We got to really,
it was so close.
Yes.
It was so close.
Yes. Yes. So that was great. Kim,
which gives 2020 vision of revelation where people don't think that their vote matters. It does.
I feel like this is going to empower us, though. We talked about our Black party with Diddy, starting our Black party for the Black community. I think that should be an area where everybody should at least sign up to get more information to see this is how we can join forces. And also, is it fair? Oh my gosh. Stacey Abrams thing is the Fair Vote Act or something like that. She has her a thing as well. Just look up Stacey Abrams, y'all find her stuff. But really getting involved in the political process. Ultimately, like we said, we're believers. We believe that God orchestrates every single thing, but we got to still be participating in the process. And if we come together on a common agenda, we could really do this. There were Black women who wrote op-eds and all this stuff, putting pressure on Joe Biden, putting pressure on people so that he will pick a Black woman VP. He promised us a Supreme Court seat for a Black woman as well. So we'll be continuing to hold him accountable for that. And there's other things that were also on the table that we need to, because I really feel like we solidified our power in this election because of all the things that we did to turn out that vote. And he acknowledged that. He said, I want to say thank you to the African American community. He said they are the ones that put him there and always has had his back, and he gonna have ours. So it's on record. We want to see how he gonna have our back. So we got to still hold them accountable to the things that they're saying that they were gonna do. A black agenda is one of the other requests. So we got to just keep putting the pressure on, and I'm just super grateful that that happened. So we want to touch base with y'all on that. And then because we are on the episode about healing and hanging out with the homegirl therapist, Kim.
Yeah.
So you have something to share?
Yes. As we go into this, I did my first one-on-one personal therapy session, right? So I've done it before with Kiara, but I did it one-on-one, and it was really good. And there are some things that just in session one that was revealing to me. I won't disclose everything, but one of them is being in nature, right? So we did that today, like the importance of, well, what's important to me is joy. That's a value of mine, is joy. And what does joy look like? And so I can say that joy for me is nature. And I love being outdoors, getting fresh air and sun. Like I need that in order to function and be on the upward path, mobility. So today, what did we do on Sunday Fun Day?
Yeah, we got out in nature. We got on the grass.
Nature.
The golf course. We went and to the driving range, and just like, that was a workout.
It was.
That was the actual workout. Because you think about it, you're swinging. Swing. I was like, I'm going to feel this later. Swinging, because we hit for a while.
We hit for an hour, to be exact.
Yep. And you turned on your golf.
Apple Watch.
Yeah. And she said it was 500 calories. I was like, now that's running on a treadmill for 40 minutes. Okay. Like that is the full on like real life workout. Because you're bending down to do the ball, and then you're swinging and all that squatting. Kim was talking about her Meg Thee Stallion knees trying to work on her wrist. So that was fun. But no, definitely, because I do feel like nature is a part of God. I mean, we center ourselves with we're connecting with life, right? And so I was proud of you. I'm super proud of you for going. And you said you got all your sessions scheduled for the rest of
the year. Look, listen, we talk about this on the podcast about EAP and your benefits. Now is the time to check, because a lot of companies are waiving the fees because they know that people are struggling in the pandemic. And also, it's like, you don't have to be struggling to go get therapy. I'm not struggling. But this is a great opportunity. It's like when you go to the doctor to get a checkup. You're not sick. You're going to get a checkup. So going to get a checkup. We have a lot of past traumas and things that have traumatized us, or we're going to therapy sometimes to prevent other people from going to therapy. Because really, sometimes that's why we're in therapy, because someone didn't go.
Girl,
when they were supposed to go.
Girl, that's the word. Now you're gonna prevent your child from having to go, because you're in her life and you're being a part of her, because how we act affects our people and your relationships, right? It's gonna help your future romantic relationship. Yeah, it's gonna help your friends. It's gonna help me. Look,
for real,
your friend though, for real. Because you're healthier. You being healthier is going to affect every single person that touches your life. And that's so real. It's real.
Even a boss. Like, some people are in therapy because of their bosses, because their bosses have not gone to therapy.
I was one of them.
They have not gone to therapy or leadership classes.
That's a whole other podcast. But I'm proud of you, Kim. That's our update for this week. And so we're going to go ahead and get you back tuned into the episode, which is part 2 with the homegirl therapist.
Whoop, whoop.
See y'all later.
And I think I've actually signed up for therapy. So I have my first therapy. I know, right?
Hey.
So I think I'm gonna need therapy to even go out into the world, because I've turned to like an introvert. Kind of going to what Ari said. I'm really not talking to a lot of people. Like, I'm just sitting in this, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what's wrong, Kim? And I'm like, I don't know if there's anything wrong. I just think that I'm evolving, right?
Yeah.
And
fall back game stronger.
Yeah. I'm gonna need that counseling to get back out there. Like, yeah, I can be extroverted, but I'm enjoying this. Yeah. Like you said, this pandemic has really been a blessing, and I'm able to see some things. And I'm hoping that when I go to therapy, I'll see even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will.
And you will.
Yeah, because when I know, like for me, I was telling myself a lot of lies that were not true. I was. And I was the one who relationships for me was just like, I was the boy crazy girl in high school. You know, I had a boyfriend at a young age. I got married young. And every time I was in these relationships was depending upon where I was. I needed something for that. The person connects directly to what my situation was, what my need was at that time. And when that need was over, I'm looking like, what? What is this? What are we doing? And so I started seeing the pattern over the years. And I was like, okay, if I see myself attracting a certain type of man, I'll be like, okay, what you going through right now? Because you're giving off this certain energy where these certain type of people, you'll be the same type of person, like being attracted in certain seasons. And I'm like, you going through something? What's this? You know, what is this that makes that think that they could be, yeah. And so that made me more aware of what I'm giving off and what I'm being and how I am. So now it's like, this has been great. It's like a little incubation period. Cause I'm like, I ain't trying to be out here. I'm not.
Streets.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just kind of like, okay, purification period. It's like, we are starting brand new. There's not really anything going on. There's nothing happening. So I can really say, what are you attracted to? What I'm hoping I'm attracted to what is good for me, right? Like, and what goes along with my purpose. And that goes for any relationship. I don't isolate it into just romantic, but any person that comes into my life, like if you're not thinking along those same lines or kind of in this same, we're not going to really have a lot to talk about or a lot in common if you're not like about this life, basically.
And the thing with that, I always ask my clients or people who are dating, what are you looking for? And they'll give me their list. And so I say, okay, so how would I know that you're looking for that thing? What are you doing to show that you're looking for the things that you want in this guy? So you can't say, I want an ambitious man, I want a dreamer, I want an entrepreneur, and you don't do nothing to attract that person, right? And so it goes back, for me, everything goes back to you. It goes back to self. What are you displaying in the world that a dreamer or someone that's ambitious would come to you and be like, let's date. Let me take you out, right?
You need to have some stability. You need to have stability because a dreamer needs a stable person at the house that's going to keep that stuff floating while they out here.
Listen, you is speaking to my life, like for real. But it's still, everything just goes back to what are you doing for yourself, with yourself, to show that person, whoever this ideal person is for you, that you're ready, right? And it's not to say that, it's our responsibility to do all of the work in dating, but let's be real. It's like you just can't be going around asking for anything and you're not bringing anything to the table, or you're coming to the table broken and you're expecting that person that is your ideal person to come in and fix you with love and happiness and all of the things. And I guarantee you that is not, you're still going to feel unhappy at some point, right? And listen, because you do. And it's that was, for me, a little transparent moment. Like, I've never been single and like dated. I'm the girl who was always in somebody's relationship and was always in somebody's relationship for a long time. right? So I like me and my husband been together. I don't even know, child. Lord have mercy. A long time, but we've been married for I think 8 years next year, and I have been growing through the marriage, which has been difficult, right? Because we got married. I was 25. Sis didn't know what she wanted. What?
Yeah, you wasn't nowhere close to who you really are gonna be.
I tell him all the time I wouldn't do that again. Like I would not. And I would tell people, 25, you don't know who you are, what you are, how you want to be. And here we are getting married, trying to create a life, right? And so what happened is we created this dynamic of when we were 25, he was 27, I think. We created this dynamic. So when I turned 30, I was like, that doesn't work for me no more. Like I ain't got an opinion, and I want to do what I want to do. And like, it just did not work for me. And so it's been difficult. Well, it's been good now, but at the beginning of my journey, it was difficult because it's like, now he has to adjust.
Yep.
Right? Because I'm no longer Tay from when we was dating, right? Like I'm Shantae, a therapist, entrepreneur. Like I have my own thoughts. The things that I thought about then, I have changed my perspective on it. It's not the same. And so you had to relearn. He has to grow with me in a sense. And my healing has caused him to do his own work, because it's like, okay, sis, like she ain't going back. Like I'm gonna have to figure this thing out, and all of it has been healing and growth for the better. But we tend to lose ourselves in these relationships when we don't know ourselves. And every relationship that I've been in, I've lost myself. When I got pregnant at 29, I told my husband I was scared to be a mom because I did not want to lose myself. I've done that my entire life. Like, I did not want to lose myself in being somebody's mom. I did not want to continue to lose myself in being somebody's wife. And so I did the work kind of backwards. And so that's why I preach what I do, so that a person who's 25 is like, no, hold on, let me figure myself out. Let me see what I like and what I want to do before I jump into what is the next indicated step. You graduate high school, you go to college, you get in a relationship. The next indicated step is marriage. And then as soon as you get married, where's the babies?
Yeah. And then after that, when the next one? And then, it's just like always something. But I like what you said about that, not losing yourself. Because I know I was the type where when I got pregnant, I read all the books. I was the organic, hypnobirthing, doula, like all the things, making the food. I mean, all that. LJ, he got all the great benefits. Marvin,
he got the organic life.
Marvin got the regular. But one thing I did with my kids early on, I was like, I said what you said. I'm not gonna lose myself as a mom, because I knew how passionate I was about my motherhood. But I also was like, so when my sons were toddlers, and I'd be like, I'll be with you in 1 second. I'm doing something right now, where it'll be times where I'm taking care of myself, and then I can take care of you. It would be, it just would be like that, because I can't take care of you if I can't take care of myself. So now they're like, I'm busy doing something. Now they're older. I can really like go there, but I'm like, I'll get to you when I'm done. Just because you're telling me you need something right now doesn't mean I stop what I'm doing and address you. Okay, thank you. I heard you. I heard your concern. Give me about 15 minutes and I'll get to you. Like that's how, because guess what? Now I'm thinking about my sons as men. And I'm like, I don't want you thinking that just because you want something, somebody got to drop what they doing to come taking care of you. I mean, it's literally like this balancing act of seeing my sons, because they're 9 and 11 now, seeing them as they're my babies, but they're also 5 feet tall. Okay. So I'm like, you about to be liking girls in about 2 years. Okay. So I need to really train you on what's okay, what's not, like all these things, but also letting you know right now, when the day is over, after all the homeschooling and everything, I'm like, so y'all have eaten, you good? I'm about to go on a break. They know what that means. Don't bother me for an hour, or whatever, because I need my time to kind of come down, and then we could, progress. But you're on point with that for sure.
Because I did it everything opposite. I was a teen mom, lost myself in a relationship and a kid. And it's kind of like what you said, Shantae, is like, I had to relearn myself and then let my daughter know that, no, I'm not going to just always be there at the drop of the hat when you want me to stop, drop, and roll. Right. Yep. Like, it was just like, I got to put my mask on first before I can help you. Yep. I truly cannot help you until I have my stuff together. And so that was a learning process for her. She's like, so you're going to go to Zumba? Yeah. I'll be back.
Remember that, Kim, when you would be like, she is, every time Kim would be trying to go to like a networking event or Zumba or something, it's like she was on your tail.
She was on my tail.
She was the mama.
Yeah. And it was just like, so you're just gonna leave me? Yeah, I'll be back and you'll be okay. And I tell people all the time, like with that whole motherhood, they'll say, oh, I don't want my kids waiting on me. Why not? You wait on them for practice. So I started making her butt wait, like sit there and watch me dance and I'll be back, because you need to see this so you can reciprocate that and learn that it's not just all about you. So yeah, I got lost in that motherhood and the relationship, and
you got to one of the things that I really want to kind of touch on is culturally, just us as a community. You know, we're facing so much right now with everything. You know, when this airs, we already said we already figured, you know, we know who won the election. But you got that, you got the racial stuff. We don't know if it's a civil war or people talking about going on. It's the pandemic, it's spikes, you know, coming. Relationally, the unemployment, economically, you know, all that kind of stuff. And us culturally, I feel like this year has really, for me, shined a light on how we're not connected as we should. I feel like we definitely, as Black men and Black women, it hurts me because it's like, you can't see it. Because everybody's trying to, you see, okay, all these people getting shot by police. You got Breonna Taylor, you got the George Floyd, and then it'd be like, oh, well, we got this, and then we got this, and we're the worse off, and we're worse off, and then it's like, where is our love gone? What happened? Because we just been so separated from the time we got here to this country. To be honest with you, it's like torn apart. Our Black men have watched their women get raped and, you know, do all these things, and then the family being broken up, and then it becomes these cycles of negativity of like, you got the single mom and the deadbeat dad, or the single dad and the deadbeat mom, or whatever it is, you know, I mean, and it goes both ways, because I see a lot of men who are literally raising their kids and I don't know where the mama's at. But you know what I mean? So it goes both sides, you know, but just the healing as a unit.
Yeah.
It, you know, because I see both pieces. I see the disconnect, and then on some levels, I see the unity and the connection of people coming together. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, we are tired and exhausted, and what has to happen is we figure out what we need for ourselves and how we want to contribute to the community, right? And so I used to feel bad because I wasn't the person out protesting. I wasn't the person out rioting, or I wasn't the person who was sharing the videos on social media. And I would feel bad because I'm like, okay, they're expecting me to say stuff and do all of that. But then it's like, but that's not my lane, right? That has never been my lane. My lane is instilling hope, right? And encouraging people to continue on, because we have so many things telling us to stop. We have so many things telling us we need to take ourselves out. We have so many things telling us that we're not good enough. And so for me, my work is telling everybody the opposite. It's a hard thing to deal with as it relates to like our mental health. And I have clients come in and they're like, I'm anxious. I don't know what to do. All this stuff is making me nervous every time and all I can do is validate their feelings, because I'm like, me too, sis. Because this wasn't in any graduate textbook ever in my training of how to counsel people through a crisis that you are also in crisis doing. It is a lot. And so I just tell my clients to focus on themselves, focus on breathing, being mindful, doing and implementing things that helps you recharge, relax, that helps you take your mind away, because we have our phones and social media keeps that on our timeline day in and day out. So one of the biggest things I tell my clients, unplug. I don't watch the news. I do not watch the news. When I get too much on social media, I get off for a few days, because all of that, even though we feel like we're numb to it, we're not. We are feeling it. It's just storing in our body. So we have upset stomachs. We have the headaches. We have the pressure in our chest. We have that feeling. You know how when you get scared and you get that like, and you're like, nothing happened. What is going on? We are experiencing that. We're having, for me, I'm like forgetting a lot of things. Like, I'm very detail oriented. I'm very on top of stuff. And this has caused me to, like, my brain is all over the place. I feel overwhelmed. I'm more tired. I try to rest, but I'm not getting good sleep, right? So you start to experience all of those things. And so you have to focus on the physical aspect of your anxiety, because that's just going to spiral and create other issues physically for you. And so it's really being mindful of what you're feeling. I'm also an advocate for medication. I know in our community, it's like, I don't want to be on medication. I don't want to, well, sis, right? Sometimes talk therapy isn't enough, right? And sometimes I need something in addition to my therapy, in addition to the self-help books I'm reading, in addition to the podcast I'm listening to, because there is something physically going on that I cannot control. And it is exhausting waking up every day with something in the pit of your stomach for no reason at all. And so I really try to focus on coping skills, working out, releasing these endorphins, making yourself feel good, your eating habits, reading, doing less kind of self-help and doing reading that's going to make you escape and take you away. Watching stupid stuff on TV. I'll be watching stuff. I'll be like, how did I get here? How did we get here?
That's good.
But it's okay, right? And so it's just really doing things that in the moment helps you calm yourself down. Because at the end of the day, that stuff's still outside. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. We got a lot of work that has to be done. And so you have to figure out what works for you temporarily. Coping skills aren't something that's permanent. And I have clients that are like, I tried everything you did, nothing's working. I'm like, girl, I ain't got nothing left in the book. I done gave you 100, And so at that point, it's changing the mindset and you accepting that I can only change what I can change. And that's it. And that is yourself. I can't change the world the way that it is now. I can't change racism. I can't change how these people is going to be acting after this election. Right. And on that note, y'all do y'all grocery shopping, get it out the way. Okay, y'all go and get all y'all stuff, your essentials, and just be prepared to kind of stay in for the week, right? Because we don't know. That. Absolutely.
I said absolutely. That. And I felt that. So where you are in terms of like that whole self-care, I know that every day I need to go out and breathe some fresh air. Yep. Like sitting in the house is like you get overwhelmed. So I've started walking every day and I have a bike. So now I bike as much as I can. But I told someone just this weekend, I was running errands and I was just like, I'm not going in. It looks like it's too many people and I don't want to be around certain people. So I'm going to do a pickup, right? Drive up and pick up. So, like
I've been doing that anyway. I've been telling you about doing pickups for I don't know how long.
Well, I like to pick my own produce out. Okay.
Yeah, I did that this morning.
So you talk about this self-care, self-help. You're listening to all these people and kind of coaching them and changing mindsets. What are you doing for you, Shantae?
You see the plant hanging down by the side.
Yes.
So let's talk about that plant addiction.
Who helps to help her?
Another helper.
The healer.
Right. Jesus and therapy. So me, I have my own therapist, right? I go to the therapy because sis can't carry out this by herself. Right. And so one of my struggles have been because I started therapy back up this year. I had stopped, but I had started to feel burnt out because it's an increase of clients, right? Like people need help, right? And so a lot of this stuff is taxing and it's exhausting. And sometimes I don't have all the answers. And so then that kind of turns me into like this imposter syndrome type thing. And I start to doubt myself. But for me, I show myself grace. That's been major as far as like my self-help, self-care, showing myself grace. And then these plants, y'all.
Yeah, let's talk
about that.
I'm up to, I just bought a plant yesterday. So I'm at 17 plants in my house.
Lord Jesus.
Oh my gosh. So you had to have a whole process of watering and taking care of these 17 plants.
That's my self-care Sunday. So for me, my Sundays are like, my husband know I'm not going nowhere. I ain't doing nothing. Don't come bother me. He go and he take the kid and they go, because he's 4, they go and do whatever they do. And I'm here. I got my music on. I'm watering my plants. I'm talking to them. I'm repotting if I need to. It's a whole vibe for me, right? And what happens is when my plants start to turn, like say they start turning yellow or they start to wilt, I know there's something going on with me because I haven't taken care of them. Wow. And because I haven't taken care of them means I haven't taken care of myself, because I take care of my plants when I feel good and I know they need love and I do all of this. And so it has been this lesson for me as I'm learning about the plants, and each plant has a different need. I have different needs at different times. I'm learning the stuff that you need to release. And so I can't hold on to dead leaves. I don't care how pretty this vine looks. It could be down here, but if the leaves are dead, what's the point? I got to cut it off because I don't need good energy going to dead leaves.
Right.
Come on, life message.
Come on, somebody. Right? Come on, somebody.
I don't want to. And so for me, a lot of my self-care is my plant babies, and reading is my other thing. And I love music. And so music, I have just everything for different moods. And I bob out. It'd be my husband, he came here one day and called me Harry Potter because I had my candles lit. I had my crystals out. I had burned some palos with some sage and incense. And he's like, "What the hell is you in here doing?" Right. Minding my business.
Like, what did I walk up? You trying to get me out of here? This a voodoo chant.
Yeah. And he don't bother me. He be like, you know what? Whatever you need to do to get yourself together, I'm cool with it. Ain't got nothing to do with me. So have at it.
My best friend just got into plants. My mom is a plant lady. So this has been really great for my mom and my best friend to bond, because she was like, what's your mom? Like, they know each other. You know, I've been friends with this girl for 20 years, basically. So, but this has been like a whole nother level for them, right? Which is like super cool, because my mom is loving that she's into it. So she has somebody she can really talk plants to and give her all the, you know, ins and outs on how to take care of them. And she's enjoying it. She's seeing the life in the plants and all that. So I'm like, this is really cool. Like, she wouldn't have been doing this, you know, before. She's getting a little addicted like you too, though, because she'll be, I just bought a new plant this week, you know, every other day. So yeah, I think that's good for people, though. It's kind of like people who get pets, you know, like they get a little puppy or something they can make them move, make them get out and go outside.
And even then, I figured out my pattern. So I was feeling a certain kind of way yesterday, though. That's why I bought a plant. So I've noticed that when I'm avoiding an emotion, I need to go and buy life. And so I buy plants.
Wow.
Right. And so like literally each of these plants, I had to be feeling something. But it taught me to, when I get that urge, it's like, okay, Shantae, what is happening with you that you feel the need to go and buy a plant? And so here's the thing about my plant yesterday. So I had went to the little local nursery, right? Because I was just going to look and see what they had. I was just looking. I was kind of like killing time, but that was a bad place to kill time. And then I saw this pretty pothos, like ivy plant, and she was hanging, and she was so full, and the vines were so low. I just could not leave her there. Sis was like, girl, get me. Okay.
It's like going to Target and browsing. You
that's what I was going to say. Like, you went to the nursery to kill time. Like, I would have gone to Target.
That's not what
you Target, I did both. Target is my I did both. I had went to Target first because I was looking for these fuzzy slippers that's like $10 that I can't find nowhere. And so then I was like, oh, let me just go over here. And I came back with a plant.
Yeah, I think that's good, though, for people to get something that they can kind of connect with and care for and all that. And and, you know, pay attention. Cause like you said, you paid attention to like, oh, what am I feeling when I go get these plants and stuff like that. I love it. I think, and one of the things I did early on, what I started picking up on by myself was when I would start feeling overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
So what I started doing was I'm going with the flow of what my body is telling me to do in this moment. So I give myself grace. I'll be like, you know what? I don't feel like doing that right now. So let me just put that away. And it's not like a procrastination thing. It was like, I'm feeling my waves, right? I'm like, this is not a good time for me to do this. Let me put that to the side till I'm ready to do that, you know, or whatever. And it is a fine line between procrastination and just listening to your body. Because there'll be times where I'm like, I need to lay down. Like I need to lay down right now and letting myself do that. So I think just paying attention to all those little things is super good. Dang, we could be talking forever. Okay.
I know.
No.
So I want to, and we'll bring you in on this because we started this new thing called Bold Black Girl of the Week. And so last week we talked about Shonda Rhimes and how she bossed out with Netflix. And this week, two people came to my mind. Well, actually, this person could have been last week, but we got on the Shonda Rhimes things and kind of so this is a belated last week's book. It is Tarsha Parker of I don't know what channel she's on. WFAA. Yeah, here in Dallas. You guys will know her from Instagram or Twitter with her little puffs that she had. She's doing the weather, and they were hating on her little natural hair, and she did a whole video basically addressing, and the key phrase was, "Why does my crown offend you so much?" I was like, "Come on, sis." But she definitely walked through that whole thing about, you know, when it comes to hair, we're the only ones that are really targeted. There's nobody that has hair like us. They don't have the versatility. They don't have the, you know, texture, any of it. It's everybody else pretty much has the same kind of hair, but us. That's a unique piece of who we are, how we feel about ourselves. Yeah. And she just was, I appreciated her just boldness in that moment because her station needed to have her back, right? That means they supported her in order for her to put that out
to actually do that, right?
Yeah. So I want to have her as my person, you know, for this week, because I just think, you know, sometimes you just got to walk in your authentic. She had to be bold to put the hair together that way. That you know, in the first,
a bold individual. I mean, I was on a live with her. Last week. Yeah, it was last week, and she is just her true, authentic self. And I think we just need to continue to walk in that, in our boldness, and be who we are. I mean, they wear purple hair. Why can't we wear purple hair?
Being confident, just being confident, because I do think that what God gives you is for a purpose. It's not just this boldness that I have. I know it ain't just to be quiet sitting in the meeting. I mean, what are we doing? I gotta, you know, gotta use it. The second one I'm throwing in as a bonus is actually Mike Tyson's daughter, who is the one who told him, you need to challenge Boosie, because she wanted to confront him. And there's a TMZ, a video where he was on TMZ Live. It was about a 3-minute video. They were just like, what made you, you know, challenge Boosie or whatever? He's like, my daughter. She came up in there and flew from Washington to LA to confront him, basically, about how she felt he was being negative, like, to the community, basically. And I'm like, girl, you know, I mean, clearly this is Mike Tyson's daughter, so she probably like, you know, my daddy ain't bold, right? You know, you got your daddy behind you, so you like, he ain't about to do that no way. And he wasn't, you know, he wasn't. But it made him listen to her. It made Mike Tyson listen to her, first of all, as his daughter, to respect how she felt about it, knowing that this, you know, just, it was a lot of pieces I felt like to that, you know, for him to like trust her enough with what she was bringing to him. And then for him to actually be bold himself. And not that he's not a bold person, but, you know, for him to address it because of something that she put in his mind, you know, to address. He might not have addressed it otherwise. So I thought that was powerful, just by, again, using your voice when it may not feel like, you know, it was gonna do anything. I don't think if I in my mind somebody tell me you about to interview Boosie, I'd be like, that ain't about to. You ain't changing nothing. You know what I mean? So that courage allowed a breakthrough to possibly come in.
It.
I think he's
he apologized. Didn't he say he apologized to Dwayne Wade about that?
He said he did, yeah. He said he still felt how he felt. He meant what he said, but he shouldn't have said it.
But he's not ready. He's not there. But he's a prime. I said, who gonna be his therapist? You know, I was thinking about that. I'm like, who could be his therapist, Jesus? Like, it got to be somebody like Mike Tyson. It got to be somebody.
It does.
It really has to be someone he respects.
That part.
Yeah. And he's also the person who gets his minor child strippers.
Girl.
So we can't.
I forgot about that.
I did not. Every time I think about him, I think about that.
Yep, me too. That's why I'm like, how you gonna talk about somebody and what they doing, what they do? You don't need to talk. So anyway, those are the 2 bold Black girls that I thought about this month. Okay, girls, what would be like? Give us like 3 takeaways for this week that we can take from this conversation on to the rest of this week and the rest of this year, because we are in November.
Right.
That's crazy.
And it's a holiday. So now we are in a pandemic.
Preparing for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do? What do we do? How do we handle this? Are we gonna have anxiety? Are we trying to get people together? Like, I'm definitely, my dad is flying out here from California. That is the only thing I'm doing. Like, he's coming. I'm gonna cook. My mom, my dad, my kids. That's it.
Same. Yeah, that's part about. It's just gonna be being the husband and the kid. We may stop by and get a plate from my granny house, and that's we not. We ain't doing all of the things.
Same here. Keeping it low key.
So how should people prepare their minds for the holidays? You know, these are kind of, I know for my family, December is kind of a depressing month because all my grandparents passed away in December. And so as we kind of are coming into that corner of this year, what could people do to kind of just get ready? Because what do they call it? Isn't there like a saying for like holiday depression or something like that?
There's like seasonal depression.
There you go. Seasonal depression. Okay.
Yeah. So I honestly would say is, one, you need to figure out what you want to do, right? So if you're making the decision to be around family, then make that decision and prepare a plan for that. If you're going to stay home and be alone, then make that decision and figure out what you're going to do while you're at home. I wouldn't suggest like waking up on Thanksgiving and you have nothing planned. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything, because that's going to cause us to kind of sit in those feelings. And so really, if you're staying home and you live by yourself, then it's like, okay, I'm gonna get a recipe off Pinterest and I'm gonna cook me a really good meal. I'm gonna attempt to do this or take out. In the middle of the bed, pick out how you a glass of wine, a bottle of wine. Watch your favorite little show. Watch your favorite shows. And if you're going with family, and you want to be cautious, wear your mask, right? Continue to do social distancing as you can with your family, and really prepare yourself, because they're gonna have something to say, right? We just gotta prepare our mindset that you know your family. Exactly. You know they're going to talk crap. You know they're going to try to make you feel bad. Prepare yourself for that so you won't be surprised by it, right? And so just go in and do what you feel like you need to do. Don't feel obligated to stay. Don't feel obligated to engage in anything that you don't want to do. And so it's really you making a decision for yourself and choosing which route you're going to take and make a plan for it. The other side of that, as far as like depression, because it does come on around the holidays, especially people who lost, pivotal people in their lives. I always tell people to do something to honor them, right? A lot of times after someone passes, we leave it there and we hold on to that grief and we don't do anything in our lives to honor that person that can help bring kind of comfort, right? So whether it's, I'm going to get, my grandmother's favorite flowers and I'm going to do a little bouquet. I'm going to have that sitting next to while I'm eating, or we're going to go together to, the cemetery, or we just going to get together and kick it because my uncle liked to play spades. So we just going to have a whole,
exactly.
And so it's just creating that tradition and honoring them in some way to kind of help you feel comfort during these times. if you are seriously struggling, use your resources. Use your therapist. Use the hotlines if you don't have a therapist. Use your insurance. I do want to say something about EAP. Y'all have them. You have employee assistance programs. They don't like to tell you like right off, when you get hired, but you can call your HR, you can call your insurance company and ask them about EAP. You get a certain amount of sessions for the free, right? And this pandemic, they have been handing them out. They're typically like 6 to 8 sessions. I've had people having 15 to 18 sessions of free therapy.
I'm about to hit that.
The other thing to that is you can have EAP sessions for different issues. So if you come to me for grief, you can get 6 sessions for grief. And then we get done with the 6th session. You be like, okay, sis, but now I lost my job and I'm a little depressed. I got you. So we're going to do 6 sessions for this issue because each thing requires certain techniques, certain skills, certain things to discuss and you have to unearth. And so use your insurance, use your EAP. The other part of that is if you don't have insurance and you may not have a job that has EAP, they have therapists who have sliding scales. You can also see a LPC intern who has gone and taken the exam. They're just doing their internship hours and they offer low and affordable rates. When I was an intern, I was providing therapy for $40 a session. And so they can go from $40 to $80 a session and you still get quality therapists. They're just in their internship. That's all. So it's not like you're getting a student who don't know what they're doing. But just use your resources because this time is hard, especially with the state of the world, especially with all that's going on, especially with our community as Black people. It is a lot. And I think the difficult part that we're having is we lean on our family and friends to provide this community and this place of safety and security, and that is being taken away due to the pandemic. And so you just have to do whatever you feel like you need to do to feel comfort, to take care of yourself, and to really celebrate the holidays. Let's not make it a negative thing, right? Like we can still celebrate in whatever way that you want to celebrate, but don't use that day to feel bad, right? Don't use it with no plan and you just wake up and you just, be very intentional about this time of year.
That's the call to action right there. There it is. I love that. It. And of course, we love the Homegirl Therapist. Where can we find you? Where can people go and follow you and all that good stuff?
So I'm mostly on Instagram at the Homegirl Therapist. I'm on Facebook too, but Instagram is mine. That's where I be at. And my website, thehomegirltherapist.com, where I do blogs. And you can also purchase my journal and my wall prints and sign up for my newsletter. I be giving y'all good little stuff, to help you get through the week because we all need a little like, sis, you got this. Jesus. You got this week, right? Just breathe. And so, the website and Instagram is where you can find me, especially on Instagram. I am very active and I respond to my DMs. So reach out to your girl.
Hop in her DMs, y'all.
Yes. Thank you have been a wealth of information and we have truly enjoyed
you. Thank you. I love y'all.
I might go get a plan.
Tell you what you want? Okay, I'll tell you when we get done.
Yes.
All right. Well, we will check you out. And obviously, we're going to bring you back. We got to bring you back at some point so we can chat it up again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
All right. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right. So that was awesome. I'm so glad we had Shantae. That was a very great conversation and dialogue. We'll definitely have to have her back on. So as we close out, we've already talked about our call to action. But one other call to action is please go and rate and review us.
Yes.
On Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
And feel free to leave a comment. Please feel free to email us if you have anything you would like for us to discuss, any ideas. And
wellblackgirls.com. Get your t-shirt. We got some new designs about to come up, y'all. We're changing the game a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So hurry up and get those other shirts. I did discount them. So go get your shirts. And then what else? That's it, I think.
That's about it. And we'll see.
Oh,
what did you learn this week?
Well, don't forget that we do have the Bold Black Girls Tribe on Facebook. So join us on Sundays for the live where we just kind of discuss the chapter, and just join that group, because I think we'll start doing some little things there. You know, since we have a little intimate group, we could be sharing, you know, new stuff that's coming out and all that to that group, and independently from all the other platforms. So yeah, we're good. All right. Have a bold week.
Peace.
We'll see y'all later. Peace.